Hey everybody, Roco fans, young and old, welcome to the 2.3 Covert Ops Update Show. My name is Pretty Hair. With me today, I have a new face for you all. His name is Brad Weir. He is one of the designers, a part of our team here on First Watch, working on Rogue Company. Brad, I'm excited to have you here. We got a lot of stuff to get through today, stuff that we're very excited for you all to try and get your hands on. How are you feeling being on here for your first show ever?
I mean, you got to have a little bit of nervousness. Haven't been on camera in a long time, but I'm used to it. I'm used to the
Yeah, you'll
environment,
do
so
great.
it's
You'll
not
do
not
great.
not not too bad. We got a hefty one. I'm ready for it.
Yes, and that's part of the reason that we have two designers on the show today is we do have a lot of gameplay stuff to kind of walk you guys through and show you. We'll get to all that later, though. We have, of course, with a new season, a new battle pass, and plenty of cosmetics that we want to show off first before we hop into the meat and potatoes and the gameplay changes that are coming in this update. So the Covert Ops update obviously has the Covert Ops Battle Pass coming along with it. Very, very cool theming. Upon login of the Covert Ops season, this is what you will be met with. Obviously, your two options with the Battle Pass is always to either unlock the regular Premium Shack, or you can jump ahead with the Elite Bundle there and jump straight to level 15. Upon that sort of immediate unlock, you always get a skin and a couple of other goodies right off the bat. And if you go to the Elite Bundle, obviously you're going to be usually getting 2 skins there and plenty of other goodies along the way here. So if for all you instant unlockers, if you want to work your way all the way up through this pass instantly, upon unlocking the Covert Ops Battle Pass, you'll grab yourself a Reaper Saint, the Blood Hoverboard, as well as a nice little 60-minute account booster just to get you on your way here for this season.
Yep. And then you start going into the other 15 levels. You've got an avatar. You've got Nick's favorite, an emote. It's a nice bow staff emote. Every emote is Nick's favorite. He loves it.
We have modeling our bow staff today. Yes. Very
We got
good.
Dallas today in his awesome cowboy uniform.
I love it. Fits very well with the theming of this pass here, but not a part of this pass himself. Let's head on over to that melee wrap.
Yep, got the melee wrap there.
All right, rocking and rolling here. On the next
I'm just
page,
gonna keep it going for us, Nick. We got a lot to get through.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Cool.
The elegant tile hoverboard here, rocking with a little account booster. We've got some emblems on this page and another, an epic emote here at the end of page 2 of 9 in this battle pass.
Epic emote time.
I remember the first day that we saw this one in the development client, we tried to see if we could crash the game if we launched this one in a 6v6 game. We had 12 people.
with everyone doing it.
Yeah, we made all 12 people feel the hype. Rest assured, the game was just fine. So fire your fireworks off at will. The Rising Dragon epic primary
cool
map here.
I like this.
Looking really nice. Yeah, looking really, really good there. Got a title.
Oh, nice. Yep. Nice drill sergeant title.
That's right, baby.
Some more account boosters and rogue bucks.
So here on page 3 of 9, this is kind of where that elite bundle will get you. So if you hop right on in, you will get all of the Saint, the hoverboards, the wraps, the titles, the avatars that we've shown up until this point. You will jump straight to the Blood Camo Mac, and this is where you will kick off your Covert Ops Battle Pass adventures from. Great little skin here for the big bad armored man himself. He's got some fun goodies coming later in the battle pass. Can't wait till we get towards some of those. Love this one too. Great banner.
This is a Nick banner. This is literally like a Nick banner. Everything Nick's about. This is a Nick banner. Makes me happy.
Big dudes, long hair, and a big old axe. There it is. The Hedronist, another hoverboard here. Got plenty of hoverboard options for you all. Diving on into the map, looking good, feeling good there. Some more boosters, some rogue bucks, one more emote. Fancy flourishes. Just to really let them know.
Then you've got the same dragon skin that goes on to your secondary. I really like how the effect is on the dragon. I think it's pretty cool. More account boosters. A nice Justicar epic avatar.
Yep. Starting to get kind of later and later here. So these are picking up in speed, if you will. Starting to be a little bit more animated. A little bit more fun for those of you that are pushing to these higher tiers of the battle pass. We got a nice another booster here to make sure you're keeping rock and rolling along the way. The epic banner here between Umbra and Ronin. The fabled duel of the fates for two of our favorite bladed rogues and their choice of weaponry. Love the animation. That looks great. The legendary second wrap, the Grime here. And our third skin, along with some other titles, rogue bucks, and things of that nature.
Third skin. I've got to click on these first, right? Get the title, then you got to show the cool.
I'm sorry, Brad.
Dragon
I've got
on
wandering
the sword.
eyes.
I know.
I've got wandering eyes.
I know. I'll go through it quick. I'm going through it quick, and then we'll get to the skin. Get to the skin. We're there.
Beautiful, beautiful. Burning agreeance. Thumbs up. Military Masquerade Kestrel, available on tier 33. You'll never see it coming. She's got some good ones.
Third skin in this battle pass?
That's right. You've got the Saint, you've got Mr. Mac, and of course Military Masquerade Kestrel. So three of the 4 character skins revealed now to us. We'll keep on pressing along here, getting to some more good stuff there. I see a primary map on this tier. Look at that border. Oh, this is a banner, excuse me. A banner here with all of your Covert Ops friends. And, of course, the Grime Legendary primary wrap. Pretty sweet kind of blood digitalized camo there. Very, very cool.
Yeah, like
more hoverboard action.
Hoverboard. It's got like a candy thing where like changes color based on the lighting.
Yeah, that like candy paint job looking. That's awesome. Yeah. Very cool.
Then you got the emote of emotes right here.
Yes, the king of all emotes here, the legendary Taiko drum emote. This is great. If you guys just want to get in a drum circle, you know, before the battle begins, really amp yourselves up. Maybe throw one of those firework hype it ups in the middle of there. That'd be good. That'd be good stuff here. And of course, up next, the mythic primary wrap for this battle pass, the Covert Ops, is the Major Danger Conviction wrap for those Mac players out there. So Mr. Mac getting himself a new skin and a new mythic wrap. If you play that LMG on the Anvil or on Mac, of course, and you got it mastered, you can swap this one around and get some good mileage out of this one here. This is a really, really cool mythic. All the mythics really are. I mean, they're so over the top and so extra. I love everything about them.
You see like the little like engine, how it's moving and stuff like that. Like it's like vibrating. It's like
I don't know if you hit that trigger reactive wrap, maybe that'll like make the mufflers flare. So I know that happens in game. I'm not sure if that button works.
It's not happening right now, but yes, you'll have to log into PTS in the game to see how it reacts, right?
Yeah, this one's pretty cool.
Find out for yourself.
Yeah, they spit fire. All right, moving right along then, we got some more boosters, some rogue bucks, a nice little animated avatar there as Ronin suits up, going dark into her final form, her Covert Ops form, the Dragon Fang banner here, looking very cool, very animated. Love this. Neutrons and Nebulas. Big fan of the Galaxy animated prints here. The more we can have of that, the better. And our final 3 awards here, a beautiful avatar for the Capstone Covert Ops, Havers. Of course, the Soldier of Fortune, got to have the title. And then the ultimate skin itself, lying for those of you that press all the way through the entirety of the battle passage, the Shadow Spectre Ronin legendary outfit. There she is in all her glory, tatted up, ready for combat.
Yeah, the skins in this battle pass are so cool. They are very, very cool.
The art team continues to spit hot content into the game.
Well, Nick, I have 2 more skins for you too. You ready for these ones? Check these ones out.
Let's do it. Into the shop we go. Not attached to the battle pass, but some goodies a la carte. Big fan of all things cosmic. The Cosmic Rave Lancer here, looking real nice. Very, very cool animated materials on her suit. Love that color scheme too, the pink and the blue. Delightful.
And then you've got this awesome,
what else you got for me?
Phantom skin.
Wow, look at that. That is very cool. Star Striker Phantom. This is going to go great with the mythic LR15 wrap too. The Tesla coil kind of lightning themed here. Very strong tie-ins.
Yeah, that's all we got for the skin game. And we go got a little ranked action going on, right? What do we got going on?
Plenty of good stuff. Plenty of good stuff to show. In the skin department, cosmetic. Yeah, we do have some new ranked season rewards. Those should be popping up on your screen now, of course. And while we kind of have these available, just want to run you through players who hit veteran are eligible for playing 30 ranked games, get that Mac Attack banner, and those who hit the Rogue, which is the final top tier rank in Rogue Company, will receive the Ronin's Retribution banner. And while we're on the topic of ranked, we wanted to address King of the Hill. We know it's been a hot button issue in the community, having a second game mode available in the ranked queues for the past season. We are going to be removing King of the Hill in this season, so we will be back just to Demolition. We do want to appreciate and thank everybody who played this season and gave us feedback on King of the Hill. We don't want Demolition to be the only ranked game mode forever. However, we think that just throwing other modes into the queue and not really giving you guys any agency or decision making on what you want to play isn't really how we want to do things either. So we are going to be removing King of the Hill. We do want to implement more modes into ranked, like I said, and into our core rotations. But until we can get a way to kind of give you guys that map mode voting sort of style, or some more other agency and other ways for you to kind of have more control over what you're queuing for and what you're playing, we're not going to implement more game modes into ranked until we can give you guys something like that back and give you that control. So again, thanks everybody for the feedback. Thanks for playing through that season of ranked. King of the Hill is gone. It's just Demolition, and these are your rewards for this new fresh season of ranked. All right, guys, so now that we're done with most of the cosmetic stuff and talking about ranked rewards, we are going to jump into the gameplay section where we give just a big overview on a lot of the gameplay changes that we have coming. But before we do, I kind of wanted to just address sort of the elephant in the room, particularly around Mythic crates and just gameplay changes in general, some Project Saint stuff, and just addressing this notion that we're not hearing you guys on the changes that you want to see in the community. We want you to know that we are hearing you guys, we are listening, and we are looking to just improve our communication process in general, right? When we pitch these Mythic crates, it was kind of like as a preview or a preamble to get you guys excited for the patch notes show, and it didn't really paint the full picture of all the other things that would be coming alongside them, which probably wasn't the best idea on our part. As always, we want to kind of give you some insight into our process. So we always start with a problem or something that we see, and these problems could present themselves in data that we have access to on the back end. It could present itself through community reports from you guys, from our surveys, from a myriad of sources, right? We take this problem and we think about, okay, what are some of the solutions that we can work through within the design team that might be super quick, some easy solutions, things like nerfing a gun or buffing a gun. Those are easy. Those are quick for us to just knock out. But for some of these bigger problems, like, you know, increasing rogue identity depth, delivering the fantasy, we like to take a little bit of a longer form approach, obviously polling, you know, different members of our team. We like to play test it internally, see what the feels are initially. We kind of make some adjustments there. Once we feel good about it internally, we like to loop in our creators, get them involved before we even push things to PTS, get their feedback, see if there's any more adjustments that we can make before it goes to PTS. Once it goes to PTS, a slightly broader audience gets it and can give us feedback, and we can make adjustments. And even once it makes it out to the live servers, you know, it's not set in stone. We want you guys to know that we are continuing to listen, and changes can and will happen once things make it all the way out to the live servers, even into ranked. We pulled King of the Hill from ranked as it wasn't quite working, wasn't quite hitting the way you guys are wanted. We are trying to listen to you guys and give you the best product possible. There's a lot that we have to get through in this patch, so I just wanted everyone to kind of approach this with an open mind, continue to give us feedback, know that we're listening, and know that we can and will make changes based on the feedback. We have an extraordinarily large console player base that we're super thankful to have as well, and they can't give access to the PTS in the way that we deliver it right now. That's something that we're working on as well, is how can we get our console players onto PTS so they can give us feedback too, right? So when you think about some of these changes hitting the live servers for the first time, know that for a lot of our console audience too, which is a big portion of our players, this is the first time that they're seeing it and having the opportunity to even give that feedback. So we want to let them have a voice and to play these things too, and to be able to give and voice their feedback, and we will make changes accordingly. So strap in, guys. We've got some very exciting things for you all. We hope that you like it. Let's start off by talking about weapon rarity. This is something that we introduced with Battlezone, of just like the rarity tier and the color language and all of that stuff. So we've added this sort of colored glow to these weapons. You can see when I drop my pistol. This is just to help at a glance, right? I can be running around the map and I can see a weapon on the ground and know immediately what tier it is, right? The green is going to indicate those lowest ones. See, as I get through these higher, as I get to these higher tiers, I'm dropping different colored stuff. Got my green.
Yeah, it's just to give you more clarity, right? We never had the clarity of what you were picking up on the ground. You never knew what level it was. So now you'll be able to see it on the ground and also in your UI there at the same time. So you know not only what you have, but what you're picking up and what other people have.
I come into this area, I see, you know, if you're an experienced player, you can kind of see based on the silhouette what gun it is, right? Oh, that's a KA-30, right? This is just to kind of help you in a glance or a jumble of weapons, right? All right, what's my most upgraded stuff? What's the most powerful thing on the ground right now? I'm going to go grab that, and I'm going to rock and roll.
We've carried that over all the way to the front end too. When you are in the armory, you'll see right over here in the bottom right, you've got the uncommon, you've got the rare. We've also added some nice colored text for you just so everything matches and it's very clear what it's doing and what level it is. So as you go through them, it's super nice and legible for you. And that'll carry over on this front end for all the weapons, all the pistols, the melee weapons, everything like that. They've all got this treatment to them, as well as gadgets. If you go into any of these, you'll see the same exact thing. So yeah, that's kind of the front end of the rarity. You ready for this one, Nick? I'm gonna click on this screen. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it. So that's just a fun, like a good quality of life thing that we wanted to go along with Project Sane. Before you click any further, Brad,
I'm waiting.
This is our, you know, this is our new communication style in action. We want to first tell you guys, before we show you the changes, let's talk about the problem that we're trying to solve with these changes. Way back in our youth, with Weapon Mastery, we're happy with how Weapon Mastery played out, but one of the complaints that we got around it, or some of the feedback, was, you know, some of my rogues' identity feels like it was stripped away from them, as, you know, I can use their gun on different characters and vice versa. All that stuff is valid. We still enjoy how Weapon Mastery plays out. We still like that sort of out-of-game grind that it gives you, that level of customization it gives for your characters. You know, but it's absolutely true that some of the identity of the characters was lost when we allowed to mix and match the weapons. So we are trying to restore some of that, more of the uniqueness, more of the fantasy that the rogue can deliver to you, the player, and, you know, just more elements for you to think about and more things that makes that rogue unique and would want to drive your choice towards picking that rogue. So without further ado, let's hop into it, Brad, with Mr. Anvil, I believe, who's you've got showing up here. Let's hop into
I've got.
Perks. So first things first here, you're going to notice more perks. We have expanded every rogue's shop to move from 6 perks total to now 8 perks. We've added a few perks. You're recognizing some new ones here, things like your gunsmiths and your bulletproofs. But I think you're seeing some old familiar faces too, and that's kind of what we want to highlight here, is this rarity, these tiered versions of perks that you know and love, right? Before, Headstrong or armor was just armor. It was 25 repairable armor. Everybody who had armor had the same amount of armor, and it all played the same. Whether you're someone like a lighter armored character like a Scorch versus someone who presents very, very heavy like an Anvil, right? And part of what we wanted to do with these scalable versions of these perks is to add more granularity and more levels for you to think about. And why shouldn't someone like Anvil play a little bit tankier? Look at this guy. Look at this fantasy that he's trying to deliver to you, and be able to hit that with this 75. He's got the legendary version of the armor. Anvil is a very hardy, tanky, slow-moving defender. And this new perk shop is something that's going to reflect that, something that's going to allow you to hunker down and really play that role and feel that fantasy and feel like, okay, this character is special. He feels like he is offering things that less rogues, you know, they just don't bring that to the table. You know, there's going to be plenty of characters with armor, but very few of them will have the legendary version of armor like Anvil does.
Yeah, and keep that in mind too while we're on the armor, is that used to be Headstrong, right? We've basically said, hey, we want everything to be called armor so that it carries across when you're picking up armor from a mythic crate or any other crate in battle zone to a perk, so that all functions the same, it all looks the same. And like we mentioned before, it is not repairable anymore. And that is something to just keep in the back of your head. Like when you see this 75 armor, it is non-repairable 75 armor, because that's very important to remember.
And here's the why, right? So when we started with this, it was all repairable armor. We were playtesting it, the mythic armor, the legendary armor here at 75, the epics at 50, and the rare armors at 25. All of them they were repairing at 3 seconds. So it just felt, yeah, obviously the legendary armor is better. It's still really good to get that armor back. But at the end of the day, it just felt too strong and too oppressive to be able, especially on characters like Anvil, to be able to heal myself essentially for 75 health over a 3-second channel. And we said, okay, so this doesn't feel balanced. What do we do next? All right, well, how about we make the legendary armors just take longer to repair? And then we tried that. It didn't feel so great because it almost felt like, okay, well, I have the legendary armor. It's actually way slower. It doesn't necessarily feel as powerful anymore. It almost feels like a downgrade in some situations. And then we just said, okay, let's just try with armor not repairing at all anymore, right? We're allowing players to have this higher level of armor. More armor is available. What happens if we just don't let you repair it at all? And that's really where we kind of hit the stride, especially with the mythics and the legendaries. Just removing that ability to repair those felt like a good point of balance. And that's kind of how we arrived at that decision and that new place where armor is going to live. Armor doesn't feel like it slows you down quite as much anymore. It was incentivizing you to kind of stop and sit still and get out of the battle for a little bit longer than you probably would. So we're hoping that that stuff feels good and armor feels a little bit more usable for you all. And kind of just flipping through some of these rogue shops showing off stuff.
Yeah, because the biggest thing that we didn't really touch on yet, Nick, is the rarity and how they scale, right? So let's use shredder rounds as an example. You touched on it with armor, but let's bring that whole circle. Most of these perks are scaling now. So when you look at them and they're in the rare, the epic, or the legendary state, they're going to have different stats associated with them. The armor was 25, 50, and 75. Now let's look at shredder rounds, for example, because it's a counter to armor, right? This is something we've added to shredder rounds. It now does increased damage, firearm damage, to armored targets. So Kestrel is a super good counter to Anvil. She's going to deal 20% more firearm damage to him while he has his armor. Now, if you go to Lancer, she's going to have a rare version of shredder rounds and only deal 10% more. So there's these versions from 10% to 20% to 30% to counteract the armor. And when you look at any of these perks, they all scale like that, or most of them scale. Some of them don't, like resupply, for example.
Yeah. And it's just these shops are now more customizable for us as designers. We have more perks and more tiers and more rarities and more ways to make these characters feel different with the same perks, right? Lancer, very run and gun, wants to get that lifesteal. She wants that evade. She wants that heavy legendary life drain. There's different ways to play into it. You mentioned with the shredder rounds, right? If I'm a character like Ronin, for example, who we've got on screen there, if I don't want to play, if I'm not playing against any armored targets, maybe I avoid, running the shredder rounds there, and I'm running something, just bounce back straight up. I'm going to run my blaster, supplement my grenades and my explosive knives and things like that. I have different options to build different ways based on the characters that I'm facing. And overall, my shop and my experience and what I have access to in the game is going to be unique. No two shops are the same. Back before, when you were playing an armored character, or you were playing a life drain character, that playing with a life drain character ultimately felt kind of the same. You were getting the same amount of heal across all these different characters. So we're hoping that chopping these up into different tiers and scalabilities makes each rogue feel more unique, and they bring more unique stuff to the table that no other rogue can bring. And I think what you mentioned there with shredder rounds is a great counter to the armor. We've got perks like Blaster from Battlezone that we've integrated in, and you've got things like Tenacity to counter those, and a lot more for you to think about, and a lot more things to kind of drive your decision making as a Roko player. Not only what you want to pick when you load into the match, but now you're in the match. What am I facing? What do I want to buy? What's my best buy path here against the team that I am up against?
So let's touch on a couple of the new perks real quick. So on our screen here, we've got Energized. So we're going to increase our ability recharge speed, right? So our abilities are recharging at 60 seconds at a base, and we're going to increase that by 25, 50, or 75%.
Yep. So most of the characters that nowadays, this is a non-change for most of them. Sigrid and Seeker are the only characters that have a little bit faster cooldowns than that 1 minute base available to them, and this is something that is used to only affect people in those respawn modes. But it's one of the changes that we are going to be making, and we'll get to that a little bit later in the show here. But yeah, lots of really exciting stuff, lots of brand new perks, all these different tiers and scale abilities that you can rock and roll with. Certain things like tenacity, we've integrated new functionalities into some of these perks, right? You know, you've got things like shredder rounds that are dealing more damage to armor. We had a perk toughen up that we just decided this isn't really holding up so great on its own. Let's just bake this into tenacity, and let tenacity offer reduced damage from both explosions and from melee attacks. We did get rid of one perk. I do want to mention cloaked. We've removed this perk just because the ability to hide yourself from reveals. Some characters, that is their whole shtick, is to reveal people, and they're an intel character, and they're there to bring that reveal to your team. So just having something that hard counters something like Dallas's ability, it's not playing great, and we're not enjoying how that feels to play against when you're playing a reveal character. So we'll explore some counterplay to reveal in the future, but we just didn't want to have cloaks just completely removing those. We might look at something like reducing duration or something like that, but definitely open to feedback. On screen now for Vi, you've got one of the new perks as well, Volatile, the potency of your damage over a time effect. So this is things, of course, like your Vi Poison, your Molotovs. If you're playing a Switchblade, the fire pools that you leave behind will be affected by this perk. If you're playing a Scorch, the damage over time effect from your ability can be supplemented by this perk. So lots of just fun new synergies for you all to buy and
also
to play around. Yes.
Trench's barbed wire gets it. Don't leave him out.
I'm sorry. Trench players rejoice. Yes. For all of the unfortunate souls that you find trapped and twined in your barbed wire, they will be taking extra damage over time as well.
Yeah, I think that's all the new ones, man. Lots of stuff to consider there, and
yeah,
everything.
Lots of brand new perks.
Do you want to see it? Do you want to see it in game and kind of how it looks in the shop?
Sure. Yeah, we can hop in and take a look again. All right, so hopping into game here, we're going to take a little look at this shop and walk you through some of how this stuff presents to you. Like Brad mentioned a little bit earlier, your perks are going to be sorted by rarity as opposed to their price. So you always see your rares are going to be the first 3 that you see in the perk section, followed by your 3 epics, and then your 2 legendaries at the end. And kind of an example is, right, your epic version of Stalker, it's your mid-tier Stalker, but it's still not worth more necessarily than even a rare tiered Blaster or an Armor. So even though it's 4,000, it is still an epic perk, so it's going to be sorted in the middle of your perk selections along with the other ones. And again, all about that color language, so kind of the relative power of the things that you're buying. As you upgrade and move through your shop, that color language, all of your rares will light up blue when you purchase them. So at a glance, you can tell what is what and what tiers you have on offer for you. And like Brad mentioned, all the secondaries and your primaries and your gadgets, all of this stuff got this sort of color treatment as well. So as you're purchasing through these tiles will change color as well to let you know at a glance kind of where your power is distributed in the shop right now and where you are at in your purchasing journey.
Yeah. So, and then one thing to denote is on the right hand side, it also has all the color coordination on there as well for the rarities, and it will show you what your next color is. When I hover my gun, you'll see the epic version and what the stats are there. So it's just a little easier to understand. You've now got the rare, you're going to upgrade to the epic. When you upgrade to the epic, then it'll show your legendary stats with everything gold and yellow over there.
Yeah. So we've got we could talk about Gunsmith a little bit here just to kind of get through. The new perks available in this patch are going to be those Energize, Gunsmith, the Volatile, which we talked about a little bit earlier, Shredder Rounds that we talked about, just dealing that bonus damage. That's what's new about Shredder Rounds. You've known and loved Shredder Rounds for a while at this point. So a couple of new perks coming into the rotation entirely, and then obviously we've got some effects for some of the old ones as well. We can hop over to my camera here. I've got Saint's shop open and ready to show off some of the goodies in his. Like Brad mentioned, a fun new interaction you can do with Saint is we've actually put the legendary Helping Hand and the rare version of Lifeline. So he can get the regen effects of Lifeline with just the blinding speed of having both Lifeline and Helping Hand available to him. Again, this is to all just to reinforce that fantasy and give back some of that character identity. Like, what makes Saint special? What makes Saint special is that support, is that revive play style, and the fact that he can pick up both of these perks and revive people at lightning speed. He's also got the Energize perk, which is completely new, of just his revive drone will recharge faster. We've also implemented some of the ones from Battlezone, the perks that we thought were successful. One of those being Crack Shot. Of course, this increases just headshot damage alone with your firearms. We've done the Bulletproof that we saw on Anvil a little bit earlier. We've got, I think you had Restock on Mac even. So we've got a couple of new perks. These will all be listed out in the patch notes and what's coming in, what's different. We don't want to get all the way into the weeds on every single perk on this show. But just want to show you a little bit about what's coming and what you can expect.
Yeah, there's a lot of new stuff. Take your time, digest it, play with it, and everything like that. It's a lot of new stuff to take in.
Yeah, balance is going to be spicy. I'm excited to see what you guys come up with, what characters you're the most interested in, what guns you want to play, what perks you're buying first, what perks are you avoiding. We're looking for feedback on all of this stuff, right? This is part of the process, right? Even though we've had our internal play tests on these, we've had some creative play tests on these. We're going to be iterating and continuing to balance these as we go. We do want you guys to try all of this with an open mind. We're excited about it. We're enjoying the way that it plays internally, and we hope that you guys are enjoying it as well. We do plan, we're not perfect, right? We know balance it's going to be fun for the first couple of weeks. You guys get in there and let us know, give us your feedback. And we'll be absolutely open to making adjustments on certain things. Let us know what feels super strong. Let us know what doesn't feel super strong, because we've got a lot coming at you. So make sure that you're reading the patch notes, understanding everything that's coming your way, and making those decisions appropriately. Like we mentioned, the armor change too. We wanted to just reiterate that armor no longer being repairable. That's a pretty big functionality update for how that perk works now. So when your armor is destroyed, it's now gone forever until your next life, when you will be equipped with a new fresh set of it. If you're already wearing armor as well, so say for instance I'm Anvil and I'm running around with my legendary armor on, and I run up to a mythic crate in one of the core modes and I put that on, it's going to drop my armor. Kind of like how you're seeing, you can pick up that little piece of armor out of the mythic crate, put it on as Anvil. If you already have a legendary armor equipped, it's going to drop that onto the ground. One of your teammates can actually pick that up and start running around with it until, of course, they get shot and it gets destroyed forever off of them. Unfortunately, that would be the end of that armor, but kind of a fun little interaction for you guys to play with and play around, and the updates to Headstrong. All right, guys, in the game now. We've been on the screen a little bit earlier in the show, but we wanted to bring some attention now to the speed and the toughness value. This is a new system that we've added to each of the characters. Each of the characters has received a speed value and a toughness value, and this is aimed at solving the same problems that the perks, scaling the perks and adding new perks and increasing the size of the rogue shop is, of just increasing the amount of things that we have available to us to make these rogues feel unique and special. So let's dive into it. Anvil here is who we've got on our screen, because he's kind of like at one end of the spectrum of being that slow, very tough defender. So he's going to be a tier 1 speed and a tier 5 toughness. So what does that mean? Each tier is worth 5% movement speed and 5% damage reduction. The damage reduction applies to all sources as well, be it explosions or guns or fire, all that stuff is going to affect it. So for the speed, Anvil's a 1 speed. So that means he's going to move 5% slower than the rest of the cast. If you want to think about where Rogue Company is right now, it would be a 2 speed and a 2 toughness. When you see a 2-star of something, so we'll switch to like a Vi, right? She's a 2 toughness. She is taking the exact same amount of damage that she does in the game right now. But she's going to be moving a little bit faster. So someone like Anvil at that 1 speed, he's 5% slower, but he's got that 5-star toughness, meaning he's going to take 15% less damage. And we're just going to hop in a game right now and kind of show off. We're going to show Anvil and Lancer, I think, of how does this affect the game and what these damage numbers kind of start to look like. Get through our bans here really quickly. I'm going to pick Anvil. Brad's going to pick Brad, who is kind of the opposite of Anvil. And Lancer is all about the speed. She's a 1-star toughness, but a 5-star speed. So she gets around moving 15% faster at base than the rest of the cast or the 2-star speed people. But because she's only a 1-star toughness, she's going to be taking extra damage. She's more fragile now than she used to be, only by about 5%. But it's something fun for us to kind of play around. Again, what we're trying to solve here is just adding more unique things, more unique balancing options for us to make these rogues feel special. So let's hop out of the plane here. Right, I think we can just probably use let's just use the Executioner here as our base guy.
I get it to myself. I am in mid.
Oh,
where did you go? I'm going to cap this point real quick. So, well, actually, I don't even need to do that. All right, Nick. So you're going to shoot me first. Go ahead and
all right. So Lancer is only a 1-star toughness. So from this Executioner, she's going to take 31 to the body and 44 to the head, right? And if we swap over to Brad's perspective, we can see this same gun is going to be hitting me for different values because of my toughness.
So 26 in the body and 36 in the head.
Yep. So it's pretty simple there. These are just your simple kind of damage modifiers for toughness of how much damage you're taking from things like your guns and your firearms. Like I said, toughness affects all different types of damage. Now let's get into a good old-fashioned foot race here just to show off the speed.
Oh yeah, I get to race Nick and I get to beat him at something in Rogue.
We'll start at the top. So I'm Anvil. I'm a 1-star toughness. Brad is I'm a 1-star speed. Brad is a 5-star speed on Lancer. So whenever I see you start to move, Brad, I'll take off running as well and show you.
We can just count. You ready? 3, 2, 1. You didn't go.
But you can see Brad's kind of he's going to be gaining on me. I'm just I'm
just go.
Give me a head start here,
and I'll catch up. Yeah, just go run. All right, so he's gonna have a head start, and you will see I will be able to gain on him because I am a lot faster.
Without popping ability, without using any external speed modifiers and stuff, you're just going to be moving faster than me at all times. But you are going to be fragile, so that's kind of it for speed and toughness, just to show off. Everybody's got a different speed or toughness value assigned to them. And we break it down in the notes if that was kind of too much information for you at once about what each star value means and how much speed you're going to get or how much toughness you're going to get, all that good stuff. Yeah, like we said, we're excited about these changes. We want to get your feedback on them and excited to see how you guys play. And if you swap mains or you want to try some new characters out, let us know how you're feeling about all this stuff. That pretty much covers speed and toughness. We are going to jump into some battle zone changes for you guys up next. All right, so we are going to be hopping in for some battle zone here. We're bringing it back for this update. The 2.3 Covert Ops update is going to be seeing kind of some similar-ish changes that you're seeing in the rest of the modes. We're expanding the battle zone shop. We've moved away from the universal shop that all the rogues are going to share, and we've given them their new, improved, personalized perk shops that they have in the core modes. But we've expanded them even further beyond in Battlezone, because Battlezone's all about that crazy power scaling and playing new things and trying new things and getting to new levels of power that you couldn't otherwise get to. So as you can see,
so you've got your base 8, right, Nick? Yeah. As you touched on, they're right there. So there's your base 8, just so everybody understands. And then what is next? Go for it.
Yep. Your 3 rares, your 3 epics, your 2 legendaries, and then we've given each character 4 mythic versions of some perks as well to have access to in Battlezone. They're even more expensive than the legendary, even more crazy. We can't wait to see what you guys do with some of these. We've also elected to change how the gadget sets work. So gadgets are now determined by the role of the character that you are playing. And as I believe we have loaded onto a support here, this is, for an example, one of the gadget sets that the supports would be seeing. They'll see the same ton every single time when you load up on a support or a duelist or a defender. They will get that same gadget set. And we've actually added a gadget here for the supports called the regeneration field. which is a fun little kind of, it almost looks like an APS that you can throw down, and it's going to heal your teammates in a small radius around you, as there is no health regeneration in Battlezone. This is kind of a fun way for your supports to get in there and do what they do before somebody's actually gone down. It's got some cool upgrades for things like duration and for you to have an additional version of it. And I believe you can actually stack these guys, can't you, Brad?
You can stack them. So there's no limit to that. However many you have, you can stack them. So it's going to heal you over time, and if you stack them, it'll stack. So we'll take a look at that really quick. So if I throw one down, heal me like that. I'll step out of it. I'll let it go. And then if I throw another one down, it'll heal me twice as fast, and it'll stack it. So yeah, this heals only friendlies. It doesn't do anything to enemies at all. And one cool thing too is if you are in it, and let's say you're getting shot at or anything like that, you can use it defensively, right? So if I throw down the regeneration fields and I'm getting shot at, I'm going to be healing as I'm taking that damage right away. So it allows you to have really cool, like, one-on-one, I'm around a corner, but I have a regeneration field, or you're pushing my team and they're all in the regen field. Cool little scenarios. So that's something that's very cool. We also wanted it to be a little more defensive. We didn't want it to be like an adrenaline shot where you punch it in and you go to, push forward, or you're healing really fast. We wanted it to be something where you have to step out of the action to be able to take advantage of it. So that is why you have to place it there. It does heal you little by little. It doesn't heal you like super fast instantaneously or anything like that. And yeah, it's on the supports because it is a support gadget.
Very cool. So just to recap, every rogue in Battlezone will now receive their new and improved shop, as well as a gadget set that is determined by the role that you are playing. New gadgets for the support role here. Plop these little guys down. They do stack. You can see that healing speed increased when he smacked them both down there as well. Increased, we added a functionality because there is no health regeneration in Battlezone. We added the functionality to bounce back, which traditionally would just increase the speed at which your health regeneration starts, to just increase all of the healing that you would take. So if you have bounce back, which Saint does, and he has that perk purchase, he's going to take additional healing from these healing fields. Or if you're playing somebody with adrenaline shots, they'd take more health from those. And it also affects things like your life drain, where you would life drain more health. So very cool stuff there for Battlezone. Excited for you guys to get in there and play the new and improved Battlezone with all these different perks and updates, and to give us your thoughts.
Now that's fine.
Yeah, I got nothing else for Battlezone, Nick. I think that pretty much does it. We also adjusted the economy a little bit, just to accommodate for the pricing and everything that we're doing with this. So you're going to feel a little bit different. Your progression is going to be similar, but you're going to have more money that you're getting at the end of each round, and things like that. So just keep an eye on that and let us know if there's any feedback around how the economy is feeling. We definitely can adjust that if it's feeling a little bit too, I guess,
too inflated, too much money, not enough.
Yes, exactly.
It's something that we've done. Obviously, we've changed a lot of these perks. They have different costs. There's more of them. All that types of stuff. It warrants an economic change across all of our modes. So we've actually reduced the starting cash in most of our modes. So like your core modes, like your demolitions, your strikeouts, your TDM. And we've just gone ahead and you're going to be automatically assigned a primary weapon. So you no longer need to purchase your primary weapon at the starts of these game modes. So that's why you're going to have a little bit less starting cash. However, pretty much, most of the money for doing things like downing people, reviving people, getting assists, most of that money is going to be coming up because your shops are now overall more expensive as you have more perks to get through. And some of them are more expensive than they ever have been before. So we've got economic adjustments. Those will all be listed out in the patch notes, of course, if you want to dive into those. Cool stuff coming for the economy for every one of these game modes. It's just a couple quick more things to touch on for this ranked season. We've actually added Meltdown to the rotation. Of course, we mentioned earlier that we've removed King of the Hill from the ranked rotation. There will be no mythic crates in ranked. I just want to reiterate that right now. These are just going to be something that we use the core modes. We kind of covered those earlier in the show. Ranked is going to be just demolition, no mythic crates. You will obviously have the speed and the toughness and the new shops and the new economy coming into play in ranked, but all that other good stuff that you know and love about ranked is going to be the same. We have one additional change to demolition that we are making is that all abilities will now recharge in demolition exactly as they do in respawn modes. The reason for this is we didn't like that the game modes themselves were affecting the rules of how a rogue's baseline kit functions. We want to set our players' expectations that their rogue's kit should behave the same across all game modes, unless of course it's like a limited time mode that is explicitly setting out to change those rules. We have a couple of quick little balance things I want to run through here before we close the show. We know we've thrown a lot at you guys today. We appreciate it if you've stuck with us this long. Sticky sensors, we've reduced the amount of that you can have deployed in the world from 3 down to 2. The cluster smoke, we have changed a little bit so that the clusters themselves actually deploy a little bit faster. The cluster smoke, it's obviously bigger, but it was much slower than a lot of the other smoke grenades than we liked, so we've kind of sped that one up. There is a ton of things that are going to be changing the weapon balance in this game, like your toughnesses, your bigger armors, your bulletproofs, your crack shots. Lots of things are going to be happening. We've done a preliminary kind of balance pass on some of our weapons. We're in game with fixers, so we'll show off that sped up cluster smoke just real quick here. We've also actually there was a slow being attached on the final upgrade of cluster smoke that we have removed as well. So this is the new improved kind of faster cluster smoke comes out there from Mr. Fixer, and you can see he is moving unhindered through his smokes, where before there was a bug that was applying a slow that was not intended. So the slow has been removed from the final tier of the cluster smoke, and the cluster smoke itself now deploys faster. Just some quick weapon balance stuff. The LR15 and the tier, we've adjusted the headshot values to be a little bit higher. The LR15 at base will headshot for 180, and the tier will headshot for 165 at base. And the LR15 has that option to kind of go into that third headshot upgrade. The tier having one of those similar as well. The reason for this is just because of these higher armor values and these toughness values being applied to somebody like an anvil. We still want snipers to be able to achieve those one-shot downs to the head, right? So these are some changes just to make sure that they can still do that and still fulfill their role. Some changes to the devotion as well. The headshot damage is actually being reduced from 84 to 78, because if you combined the devotion with the new crack shot perk, it was allowing the Dallas to actually one-shot headshot a lot more people than intended. So you can, if you have the max level of crack shot and
more
the
than
devotion,
intended.
Yes, more than intended. You can, so your very fragile characters like your 1 toughness, your lancers and your switchblades, they're going to be taking 100 damage to the head, roughly or so. So some of the characters, the lighter, more fragile toughness characters, Dallas will be able to one-shot with the devotion if he buys crack shot. We've also reduced the range on the arbitrator by 2 meters and reduced the damage that it actually does once it starts to fall off, especially at those longer ranges. The perk Gunsmith increases your magazine size. So for guns like the arbitrator and the tier, that allows you to get that third bullet in the chamber, which can be very fun to play around, but it could also be frustrating in the case of the arbitrator. We know that's a weapon that we've been having some tough time balancing recently, so we want to make sure that we have a couple of nerfs to accompany the arbitrator, as it will be having access to a third bullet on some characters that do bring that gunsmith perk along with them. We've also nerfed the body shot damage on the objection and some fall off damages at longer ranges. We know this one's been really, really popular in ranked. We've increased the recoil on the Sahara. We didn't want to touch the damage on this gun because it actually sits like pretty appropriately in like the mid-ish time to kill range for the AR. So we like where it's sitting as far as its damage profile, but just felt maybe as a little too easy to use, a little too accurate for the amount of damage that it brings. So a little bit of a nerf there to the Sahara. And the KA-30, we've reduced the range overall by 3 meters. It was creeping up a little bit too much. We're kind of moving this weapon to be a more high damage, high fire rate, high recoil, aggressive gun, and it was having a range that was reflecting a little bit more with those kind of mid to long range rifles. So just bringing that one down a little bit. And that does it for us, guys. We are really excited about this patch. There's a ton of stuff in here. We know this is big. We know there's a lot coming at you. We will have all the details in the patch notes. We will be open. We'll be answering questions. You guys can reach out to us on social media. We'll be making balance adjustments through the PTS cycle. Make sure you guys are hopping on there and giving us your feedback. We are very excited about this patch. Brad, any final thoughts for us before we wrap it up here?
No, play PTS and give us all the feedback. That's the only way that we're able to, make changes and stuff like that. But overall, we've played this a lot. We're super excited about the changes. It's a lot to take in. So take it in little by little, practice with it, play with it. And we'll see you on PTS.
Thank you guys so much for joining us on this Patch Notes show. Know that we are listening to your feedback. We do appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for playing and loving Rogue Company. We love the game. We want to make it the best version of itself that it can be for you all. Thank you so much for tuning in to the 2.3 Covert Ops Update Show. For me and the rest of the First Watch team, thank you so much. We love you, and we'll see you out there.